for today's broadcast. Of course, you know him, you love him. He's the most familiar around these parts, Deadly Ghost, and joining from before, the artist extraordinaire, Nandonut. Welcome you both.
Hello, hello.
Thank you. I thought I was out, but then they brought me back in.
I mean, it's just like Jin, with his artistic expression. He was jailed, and then when the First Ionian War came in, he was released from jail to help out, and then he did what he did best, which is destroy Noxians.
Well, ironically, whenever I try and make art, they put me in jail as well. So let's instead talk about TFT. So guys, of course, we've had our most recent patches. We're free from the reign of Akali and Volibear. And we took like about half a second before immediately jumping into the reign of Udyr instead. But what's kind of most front and center in your minds coming into today's event?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, big Udyr takes up a lot of space just on the board. I feel like there's a few comps that I'm seeing most frequently. I think Jace Caitlyn reroll is pretty popular, even if you don't have Silver Mid-Dawn, which kind of pushes it into S+ tier. We've got a couple of AP comps, Sorks, Prodigies have kind of always been popular, I think. And I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people playing Ashe, like sometimes 2 to 3 people trying to play Ashe. As you mentioned, counter this big Udyr becoming the sort of new flavor of the month, I guess. But DG, I feel like you've got some alternative ideas, maybe.
Yes, well, I let Nandonut give you the meta because I have a few hidden OP comps, and both actually come from the Prodigy segment that you just mentioned. Syndra 3 and Ezreal 3 are both currently very, very good to play if you can get a lot of them early on. So with things like Rolling for Days or Trade Sector, if you can get a 3-star Syndra or a 3-star Ezreal, then you can just field them with a lot of frontline units and have them be very, very effective. However, Ezreal would require AD items in the form of Rage Blade, Infinity Edge, and Kraken Slayer, as I'm trying to speedrun through this because we are already on stage 2-2.
Yes, let's get things started and see if any of our players have got any spiciness for us. So we're starting off here on, let's check exactly where we are at. On table 1 in the lobby, where we've got Smack Craps and TB Forecast, I remember. TB Forecast, of course, playing in the Northern Legends collaboration tournament happened just past. Nandonut, of course, I've already got a grudge because TB Forecast not only beat me, but made me look silly when I made a bunch of really, kind of rude jokes about weather jokes when I was hoping to beat them.
So I think I'm making an inference already, and my assumption is that we're on loot subscription here because I'm seeing spatulas already, and I think a spatula has been dropped as the first bit of loot, which is a very spicy one because it opens up some real possibilities. I'm curious to see what people are going to do with the spatula that's already been dropped. You can see a Battle Academia emblem here already. I'm seeing at least a couple of other people already playing Battle Academia early.
Yeah, very, very much so agreeing with you there, especially because for Battle Academia, you really need that 4 cost to get the 7 Battle Academia if you want to go deep into the trait. It's also good for something like Star Guardian, which requires Seraphine to activate the hidden part of 20,000 mana. So if someone makes a Star Guardian emblem and goes, past 8 fields, 8 Star Guardians, they would be having an easier time. But it also works with something like even the crew, because you can make a strategist emblem and sort of go a little bit a ways back to that very strong comp from the crew with strategists that just terrorized a lot of lobbies.
I'm really interested to see if any of our players go for a little bit more off base, because certainly, the Star Guardian and Soul Fighter verticals, they seem pretty straightforward, but stuff like Luchador interests me, specifically because it's such a shallow vertical that, being able to bump up to potentially 4 Luchador early, I think it feels like there's a lot of good potential there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would be interested to see. I feel like Wraith is another one that's possibly like I find quite interesting. I think it's not generally that playable vertically, just because like you're kind of missing a four cost carry. But when you have an emblem, I mean, the possibilities are endless. I feel like sometimes when I'm playing, I maybe try to cook a bit too hard when I get an emblem because I'm trying to think about like, ooh, who's an interesting character that I could make like my main tank or carry in this line, and then just end up getting a little bit dizzy. I feel like most often at the moment, I tend to see emblems as just like a kind of just a way to fill out the trait a bit more easily as opposed to like creating an extra carry or front line. But I'll be curious to see what people end up with.
Yeah, I like that you're keeping us here with the weekend counter because I saw the spatula, I saw the recurve bow, and now I know that 4 supreme cells, 6 heavyweight can come in very easily for the weekend, and we already have fusion dance, which is Darius's best power up, and this means that Darius, even after 1,233,000 and sorry 2034 234,567 nerfs, he still gets to be a menace on the rift with 4 supreme cell, 6 heavyweight if that supreme cell emblem comes into play, especially because you have a Kaisa and the cannon just simply waiting on the bench to be used.
Yeah, I'm impressed Weekend managed to keep things going. I'm also with you that I was kind of surprised that we don't otherwise see this being slammed if this is the plan longer term, but for now it seems to be working. We'll see up against Smack Krabs, who's second in the lobby overall. And, you know, Nandonut, as we continue to loop around the lobby, we'll keep an eye out for any of our players, like Fallen here, who has actually slammed through any interesting early emblem choices.
Yeah, I mean, there's that luchador emblem you're talking about. I just want to note quickly on the weekend that we were looking at. I think that Darius and Caitlyn has come from his pocket recombobulators. I think he's just hit the first 2-star 2 cost he could find and just recombob them up. So I reckon that's where he's got that from, and I guess now he's trying to figure out what to do with it. Maybe it is that Supreme Cells line as he's got the Caitlyn sitting on bench, but I guess, the Kaisers. But I guess we'll see. But that one's a really interesting one. You sometimes see it used tempo for these early three costs, or people hoard it for later on and try and 3-cost a 3-star 2-cost and then level it up. But we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very interesting to see how it gets utilized, especially with the Supreme Cells. But Fallen, like you said, the counter is going for that Wraith emblem, and we already see four raids being activated. We see the Kale on the bench there as well, and now all we need is that Cassante for the six raids to be activated, and 6 raids is particularly strong after a few nerfs to other vertical comps. So I feel like Raid 6 just picked up the slack of where other comps have started to falter a little bit, with the nerf to Soul Fighter and to a few of the other comps.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated to see how Fallen Jack does, because with the Wraith, to follow on to what you're saying there, with it being a every 5 seconds deal for Wraith, certainly having these longer rounds where you can especially keep your front line up for an extended period of time with all this bonus HP coming in. It does require you to do a decent amount of damage though to make these lightning strikes have a meaningful impact. Looks like for now Fallen's in a good spot.
Yeah, I feel like you're definitely going to want to, or most likely anyway, make that Wraith emblem carrier some kind of 4-cost carry would be my guess. I feel like it's interesting as well that it's funny that we both kind of had our preference for like maybe underused traits, and both of them we're seeing here already. But it's going to be a gold augment to bring it up second. I suppose there's always a potential for another emblem, and you just end up going really hard into it. We're looking at Fallen Jack here, who's gone for Mace's Will by the looks of it. So some kind of crit build, AD, AP. Seems more likely to be AP with the items he's holding, but we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, it's sort of looking like it's going to be a Malzahar reroll, which I'm not surprised by it. But within that 6 rate comp, you're really looking for the Malzahar to be your main carry, and then you're looking at a few of the other rate units to be sort of the complementary ones around it. But what's really interesting about Malzahar is Mace's Mace. Sorry, what was the augment name again?
Mace's will.
Mace's will. There we go. It works really good with Malzahar because every tick from his damage can crit. So, basically, critical strikes kind of work very enhanced on Malzahar's damage.
All right, let's jump down to let's jump around the place and just get a flavour of what else is going on here. So, we've got Enigma, who I assume is going to have presumably already made a Soul Fighter emblem, or let's just remind ourselves. There we are, already completed there. That's right, yes, that was the sword. So we're going to be really testing our knowledge of what this spatula has turned into this one, which I definitely do remember at all times. But this, we get to see, Nandonut, some of the more straightforward vertical power. Some of our players are having to wrangle with emblems they're not used to playing with. For Enigma here, this feels like a much more straightforward game plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like verticals are kind of quite popular at the moment, or like quite easy to play. You've got the likes of Soul Fighter, Battle Academia, some of the other ones that maybe require a reforger are verticals that are played around the, what I guess you call the class as opposed to the origin. So like, your sorcerers, your juggernauts. If you hit a reforger at some point, then you can make an extra one of those. So I think we saw somebody maybe playing sorcerer at the moment, so maybe you're hoping for that. But yeah, I mean, I think the power of playing verticals in Loot Sub with the decent potential to get a spatula at some point is pretty high. Not seen anybody playing Crystal Gambit, I don't think, which I can sometimes have a really high cap in these in this encounter. I've seen people with 7, even 10 Crystal Gambit, but I don't think we're going to see that one here today, at least not at the moment.
I think because of stage 3 not giving another spatula or a pan, it's a little bit more difficult to go into Crystal Gambit. But yeah, I fully agree with you. A few of the nerfs that came in for Crystal Gambit kinda brought the comp a little bit out of favor with players from what I've seen. But I still think that Ashe is a very strong unit right now that can be played in Duelist and Crystal Gambit comps. So it's going to be interesting to see what a few of these unused spatulas turn into, or if they turn into a sorcerer emblem, like you said, or maybe we will see some creative gameplay coming in.
I do think it feels like it's always a risky move to try and play towards the eventual remover. I wonder, Nandonut long term if TFT might end up getting, a reforger rather than remover. I wonder if long term TFT might end up with easier access to reforgers, like maybe a guaranteed 1 per game. Because right now, removers, you have buckets of them. Reforgers, you may not see 1 in a given game.
Yeah, I don't completely know how it works, if it's just a probability of dropping. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering the games where I use them. I feel like most games I usually end up with 1 at some point, but I suppose it's not guaranteed, is it?
I think the main way you would get them is if you end up with 2 of the same component from a PvE drop, then it just gives you 1 automatically, or you can get them from augments. I don't know, DG, if you know any other ways.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I got the minor lag spike.
Oh, sure. So we're talking about ways to get reforgers, and my understanding is you get 1 if you ever get 2 of the same component drops to sort of mitigate that, and you can get them from augments, but I don't know if anyone in the chat knows either, like if there are any other ways which I'm not aware of to get them.
No, only neutral rounds and grab bag. That was the only way you could get. It used to be It used to be able to get grabbed with random emblem and the reforger, but they removed it and it went back to only a random emblem.
All right, well, let's keep on moving then. So let's take a look at where we are overall in the lobby. So Weekend is currently up at the top with this Executioner set up here. So we did end up with, we can see there's a couple of Reforgers still left in Weekend's inventory. So, and Nandonut, it looks like you're right that we did see one player at least able to break out from just the pure Origins and move into classes. A more unusual setup that will take down Smack Crabs.
Yeah, I feel like this is maybe this kind of experimentation or adaptation that's come from these recombobulators. You know, he got this Caitlyn, he's turned it into an executioner to go alongside, I guess, at the moment, the Akali and the Senna, and it's a kind of executioner supreme cell setup, which is an interesting one. Although it looks like he's kind of building his Darius as a tank at the moment. I don't know if that's temporary, if he's going to try and turn it into an AD fighter later on, which I feel like is what we see most often. But yeah, definitely some interesting adaptation coming in, and it's paying off for the Weekend at the moment. 100 streaking, 10 streak, and it's a boot.
Well, there's always a chance of getting a boot, but it is what it is. Yeah. Oh, the Weekend leveled up to 8 here, and I'm curious. The Senna is in the front line. The Udyr is in the back line. Okay, I am very confused.
Yes, that does seem really
I got
strange.
nothing.
I mean, it's working for the Weekend right now. Managed to get up to level 8, 2 full stages completely undefeated. I think that might be continuing even further. And honestly, Nandonut, I think, it feels like the loot subscription portal has done its job if a player kind of putting together a throw together kind of board which perhaps we've never seen before is the one that's ultimately winning the lobby.
Yeah, I feel like Spatula first off is always like pretty much the spiciest opener you can get, Spatula or maybe Artifact item. But we're seeing our third augment now. We're going Silver Gold Prismatic. We're going to see what the Weekend here is going to take. He's opting for Lucky Gloves, so he'll get 1 TG to start with. Presumably he's just going to prioritize those gloves going forwards, although he is at the top of the standing, so he might not get that choice, but we'll see.
I mean, with a couple of the Reforgers coming in, as we do get a little bit of a spectator bug.
Oops. There we go. This is Benzo's.
Yeah. Benzo. Oh, this is. Here's that Taj that you were talking about. And yes, this is. Basically, this is the board that has given me so many nightmares. But however, Benzo's here might just lose because of that, because the Seraphine went right next to the Udyr, so he didn't get the extra health. But it doesn't matter because Udyr is just, for lack of a better word, busted on this patch.
I mean, far be it from me to speak out of turn, Nandonut, but colossal units, I think they might be a mistake. That's a general rule. Like in this case here, as we will see the 6 duelists coming in. So the colossal, yeah, the 20% durability, the 1,000 health, effectively doubling up on any kind of defensive itemization you put onto this Udyr in the front line, because he's functionally 2 units worth of value.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's the combination of the durability you get from the traits, because you can see his total durability is actually 47%. It's the combination of the colossal durability, the 2 Juggernaut durability, and the 6 Duelist durability. That means he's actually just innately very tanky, and so you don't even need to build him as a tank, which is why you're seeing these builds quite commonly. It's usually like Stoneplate, Titans, Starax, which basically means, he's super tanky and he actually has a decent amount of damage, and kind of he gets healing from his ability. So I think it's all of those together that mean, he's a tank without really having to build pure tank items. That just makes it so strong.
Mind you, this is also an Udyr 2, by the way. Once Udyr 3 comes along, he's going to be extremely unkillable. But moving on to more important matters, the weekend has started off very nicely in this game, but is now on a losing streak, going from Mr. 100 to dropping down to second place as Benzos takes in the first place from his hands.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the other players as well then. Notice, towards the bottom we've got Fallen, who we checked in with before with a 6th Wraith board. Did manage to complete the Tactician's Shield, but it's very low on HP, as is Black Villain, who is the Sorcerer board, who never found that Reforger we were talking about from before. Such a risky path to take. Has gone hard on the Econ, has Black Villain, but ultimately hasn't ended up with a massively strong board, Karma to his side.
Yeah, I mean, he's used all his gold, right? It looked like it was forward thinking into invested. He's used up all his gold. This is the board that he's stuck with. Guess he, pray that you hit a 3rd Jarvan at some point. Although it looks like he's still got his 2nd power up on the Syndra. I'm guessing that's maybe the Essence Share to give the comp some more mana.
Yes, but uses a mana battery.
Yeah, exactly. But his last life here, it doesn't look like he's going to beat the Soul Fighter board. And so that is it for Black Villain. Despite having presumably infinite amounts of gold, it was not enough, and he goes out in last place.
Sadly, sometimes that is the way the cookie crumbles. And here we have fallen Jacket with AP items on the Varus, which a little bit interesting, but yeah, now we see that 3-star Malzahar come in, so maybe we get to see those items get transferred back to the Malzahar, but yeah. Did Fallen Jake go for? Yes, I believe they did go for the. Basically, you're stuck at level 7.
Oh, max cap.
Yes, max cap.
Yep, that's correct. I think that makes sense in Fallen's position, because it looks like getting it up to the 3-star Malzahar was absolutely everything. I'm with you that I'm surprised that Malzahar isn't taking the itemization from Varus as much as, he will be able to do some damage. Fallen's certainly not going to be dropping out this round, but up against the Weekend, who is currently 2nd overall, it's looking a little dicey. But I think the 3-star Malzahar will be good enough to keep them going. Now, let's check back in at the top of the table though, because Benzo has been running roughshod through the lobby since that Colossal Udyr came online.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a strong comp, and even like DG was talking about the 3-star Udyr, you don't even really need it, honestly. Like, I think you are probably best off staying at 8 and just rolling. Because with the max, or with the Colossal taking up 2 spots, and also just the way the comp works, even if you go 9, there's not anything hugely impactful that you can add in. So most commonly, you kind of just stay at 8, continue to roll, aim for 3-star Udyr, aim for 3-star Viego even. But even without it, it's just so strong, and we can see he took that artifact as his 2nd augment. So you've got whole Crusher Udyr as well, just in case he wasn't enough of a solo tank. Great components for Titans, honestly. I would slam that straight away. Looking very strong for sure.
Yeah, Titans, and now you can also make a Kraken Slayer on this Twisted Fate if you want it. So this is just incredible. Benzo's high rolling so much. We do see the gargoyles coming in, so not the Titans that we expected, but still, it's a very good item choice for the side of Benzo's on the Udyr, who is basically the solo frontline unit, and now we see the Hodge coming in for the Viego, just giving him that extra bit of sustainability.
Yeah, well, I think having the Twisted Fate there is the kind of further cap to the comp that we're continuously getting in these small extra bonuses, which we'll see kick in as it goes. Means this board just a step stronger than it will be otherwise, as Fallen takes another L, goes down to 4 HP. Now, Donut, let's take a look. Let's take in a few of Benzo's potential opponents then, because Smack Crabs and Ich Bin Batman, I suppose perhaps Ich Bin Batman most strongly, are the ones on the highest HP otherwise in the lobby.
Yeah, so it looks like, what is it? Batman's playing it's a 4 luchador comp, and he's got his Jinx is his back. It's kind of it's a luchador Star Guardian hybrid, which is not something I can say I've ever seen before, given that there's zero overlap between them. I'm also kind of surprised he's not still playing Gnar as a luchador, because you then have that overlap of sniper between Gnar and Jinx. But he's basically just saying, I've got some luchadors, I've got some Star Guardians. Poppy, you can be both, but apart from that, they're kind of both doing their own thing. Maybe it's just what he hit on his roll down, the Jinx 2 as a carry. And it looks like Fallen Jacket is maybe going to be out here, or most likely. So that's our 7th place, and another one, TV forecast going out, so we're down to our top 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite a difficult round for Fallen and for TB, but I do think that Batman definitely has fielded in a very strong board there to sort of take care of anything that might come up, especially because this Jinx and this Poppy are both very, very strong, and Volibear, while did get a few nerfs, I feel like he is still fairly strong, not out of the meta at all, as we do see the Seraphine 2 coming in, and this board just keeps getting a higher ceiling. Going up against the Weekend, who started out extremely strong, has now moved into Battle Academia of all things. So ditch the Supreme Cells for Battle Academia.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately trying to go back to a more standard board means that we're left in a position where this is perhaps just a worse version of what would have been otherwise been the board. Weekend is going to be going out here. It looks like Batman will be the executioner for the lobby. Smack Crabs down to 11, our final 4 in place, and we've got 2 big front runners in Benzos and Batman.
Yeah, I feel like this is really interesting. I mean, I think we've got the kind of dichotomy of like the meta versus just the complete cooking. Batman with this luchador Star Guardian comp, which is not something I'd ever say. Meanwhile, Benzo playing your cookie cutter, duelists, Udyr. I'm curious to see how high Star Guardian luchador can cap out. I'm kind of rooting for it, honestly. It doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but he's making it work. DG, I think you're muted if you're speaking. Otherwise, if not, I can carry on for now.
Okay. Okay, sorry, DG had to step right for a second. But no, okay. I'm with you here. I think, so I think sometimes the players do listen to the cast, because Gnar is now in the mix for the sniper, which makes a lot more sense than just activating Luchador. So that's a chunk more damage in. I'm hoping, and we'll get to see them going face to face against each other. The meta and the comp that seems to make no sense face to face.
Yeah, I feel like this is a preview of maybe our showdown for that top spot. It looks at the moment like maybe that Ashe is just a bit too strong. And yeah, it seems like it. There's a reason why this comp has, the pick rate has kind of skyrocketed over the last few days. Meanwhile, our 3rd and 4th place, it looks like it's Star Guardian versus Soul Fighter, I think, on the other side, and Enigma is out. I think, yeah, he was playing that Soul Fighter comp, so we've got our top 3, although I can't help but feel like maybe it's a top 2, although there are three costs here. We've got a Nico, Swain, and Ari, but I'm just wondering if it's enough to beat the top 2 comps from Benzo and Batman.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
Had to take a quick phone call. But yeah, jumping off what you said, Nandonut, I quite like the comp from Smack Crabs. I think sort of going into Ari and the 3 stars, trying to go for a little bit more frontline and have Ari be your basically your main damage source is sort of the best thing that Crabs could do, especially because they got contested on Star Guardians from a few people in this lobby actually. So I mean, it's not really working too much against Batman, but I do think third place, after being dealt a very difficult hand in this game, is perfectly acceptable, especially because the other two boards are very much in a high ceiling and they can still go higher.
Sorry
Yeah,
to jump in here, but I think Benzo is one off Ash 3, if I'm not
oh
mistaken.
wow. You're right, and it's been spreading the ashes out on the bench while also using Zyra as a, as a confounding factor there. Because you look at the Ash, you look at the Zyra, you maybe forget about the Ash by the time you see the other two Ashes on the rest of the bench. It's psychological warfare, Nandana.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a huge amount of money here, but you never know. I think because he took that. Oh, never mind. I take it back, and there it is.
I think that is the biggest caster curse we have seen on the CZC counter. I don't know if you can recall a bigger one, but that is single-handedly the biggest caster curse I've seen.
I'm
I mean, I think that's a
really disappointed to
anti-cost
see the
curse, isn't it?
3-star Ash coming
I
here
feel like
because
I feel like that was a caster blessing. Instead of saying a good thing and it turning into a bad, it was the opposite. He just got that cash injection and he just saw that Ash, and I mean, surely this has to be unbeatable.
well, that's what I mean. I'm actually kind of a little sad to see the 3-star Ash come in because I was really ready for what could have been otherwise a very competitive end to the game, but instead Benzo's, turns it from a dominating performance into an absolutely unstoppable one. We're still getting Twisted Fate proccing here, DG, for even more advantage.
Oh, that is, you have to feel so much for Batman, especially because without the Ash 3, that board was giving Benzo's a run for his money. You could see that 2-star. You could see that 2-star Braum basically spinning the Udyr away from everyone and giving the Jinx some free target practice. But now with the arrival of the Ash, you really can't do anything because that Ash just opens up the rifts and the arrows come flying.
Alright, I think this might be it for this game. Yep, it's too big of a win. Benzo's just destroys through the board. Welcome Luna Edge from the competitive tier T subreddit. And Great Beb, it's very possible it would have been a win without the Ash 3-star. I think just the endgame board there was already pretty ridiculous even before that happened.
Yeah, I mean, we can dream. I'd like to think that there was a chance. I think that the Star Guardian Luchador board, he had managed to hit level 10 as well, so he had like 4 2-star 5 costs or something. But yeah, I think it's not unlikely that the Ash might have won anyway. But when you hit that 3-star, it's just pretty much guaranteed. I think he'd taken the 1 buff 2 buff, which gave him that duplicator, which made it a little bit easier to hit. And yeah, with that cash injection that I so generously brought into fruition, maybe he would have hit it anyway.
Yeah, I can't help but agree. I think we saw a previous fight where, to be fair, there wasn't a Braum 2 at that point, but Benzo's narrowly eked out the win against Batman. So with the Braum 2 and the level 10 Yone 2 coming in, maybe Batman could have given Benzo's a run for his money. But sometimes that is the way the cookie crumbles, and Benzo's just ends up having the better rolls. But to be fair, Benzo's was definitely high rolling for most of that game as well.
And I feel incredibly validated because apparently Great Beb is Benzo's in the chat, saying, I thought my Zyra was Ash and wasted that duplicator. So it was such an effective bafflement concealment strategy, it even worked on the player doing it on the bench, making that Ash completely snowblind, invisible. You could not see her because just mentally, Ash, the sequencing. You saw Ash, you saw Zyra, sequencing out the window, perfect strategy. Benzo, thank you for demonstrating the human frailty condition, tricking yourself, tricking us, tricking the lobby, and honestly running it way far over the line. I was checking to see if we had any other active lobbies we could jump to, but it looks like they are mostly wrapping up at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll take ourselves a 7-minute break. When we return, we'll review the other off-stream lobbies from round 1, and then hopefully jump straight into round 2 as well. So stay tuned, we'll be back as soon as possible with round number 2. Howdy, howdy, everybody. It looks like we've got a little bit of a delay on our next round starting. Oh, hello. Sorry, DG, you're away. I didn't realize you couldn't hear me when I said we're starting the stream again. But yeah, we are waiting on one of the lobbies. It looks like maybe I don't know quite what happened there. I think there was maybe some people trying to be overly accommodating and not wanting to cut anybody off from seeing it. Alright, tell you what, DG, if you wouldn't mind helping out European, I think so we've got a thing at the moment with, we're not getting any screenshots from any of the lobbies at all, which is concerning, but hopefully we can get those sorted out soon. Please ask someone else if you need help with that. So yes, the players Twitch, the weekend was directly taking advice from us in the chat, or rather through the stream. Because
I just see the message. That's so funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, we're not under anywhere near as much pressure as the players are, so it makes sense that we would have, in this instance, our lack of high-level game knowledge is less important than just the ability not to be freaked out by playing in a lobby that's completely nonsense.
Well, this is looking very interesting. Okay, let me just do this.
Okay.
I will be fetching a screenshot very quickly, Counter.
Okay, yes, thank you. It looks like most of the results are in from a lot of the tables, but it's going to be hard for us to confirm them without the screenshot. So anybody who is playing the lobby who has got access to the screenshot or could go onto the lol chest and grab it as well, that would be greatly appreciated, just to make sure that there aren't any mistakes anywhere. Because in this tournament, we ask for the players to put the results in themselves, and I think sometimes it goes a little bit off wild. Oh, okay, we've got a screenshot in the tournament chat. We'll hopefully eventually get that across to the post results page as well. Yeah. Alright, well, Nandonut, while that particular bonfire is roasting merrily, in terms of our ability to, we'll be starting the second round as soon as we can. I think we're just like 2 more results to come in before it's done.
So we have round 1 lobby 2. Again, I seem to be very popular today. And I wish this had been the case when I was in high school.
Well, while DG helps the folks get their results and fully compromised in there, Nandonut, admittedly, we were in the unusual lobby, so we didn't necessarily see the full meta which we'd expect to see on display. Ultimately, though, the most meta comp at the moment did win out the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, hitting the 3-star Ash obviously helped, but I feel like he had a pretty good setup anyway, and kind of used that spatula to pretty good effect. He was able to turn it into a duelist emblem, and then he could drop one of the kind of, no offense, useless duelists. and stuck in a duelist TF instead, which is pretty effective. TF likes the attack speed, also gives you a loot if you're in there for long enough. So yeah, I mean, he did play very well, used his resources effectively. It was cool to see the cooking though. I hope we see more cooking.
I don't know if any of our folks, Yurka Hampus from table 3, it looks like though they're in the top 2, maybe still playing. But let's see. I'm going to see if I can bring up on stream some of the... I'll tell you what, I'll bring up for our casters. Oh, yeah, okay, just finished. Great. In that case, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to chuck everybody into the next round pretty much straight away. So apologies for the folks on table 3. But just want to make sure we don't fall too far behind on the tournament itself. And just check. Yes. So, DG, Nandonut, I know that this last lobby wasn't necessarily the best example, but going from there going forwards, you know, what did we see in the first lobby, and maybe from some of the other lobbies that were played off stream, and what should we be expecting going forwards?
Well, I'm looking at the screenshot that Hampus has posted, and I'm seeing 3 players in the top 4 playing Ashe. And all 3 of them somehow managed to hit 2-star Ashe, which I'm not sure how they pulled that off. But yeah, that's a little bit of what I was expecting. It's what I've been seeing in my games a bit too. Not too surprising, although I feel like it says something when 3 people can hit top 4 with the same comp. Definitely some of that. There's a crew player in there as well. 5th place is a Caitlyn Jace, so I feel like mostly the kind of stuff that I was expecting, but I hope we do see some curveballs there as well.
Well, from what I've seen,
okay, that was just a memory buffering going on there.
Yeah, because my Discord decided to troll me. based on what I've seen, in lobby 2 we also had a duelist board win. That one actually had a 3-star Udyr. So Ashe 2 plus 3-star Udyr with Colossal seems to be the name of the game if you want to win. Which I don't want to have another Akali Volibear meta on our hands.
Wow, it's like you change out one bear and you just get a different bear man in place. Presumably. I mean, it's bears all the way down, Nandonut, surely.
I mean, it looks like it for the top spot. I think it is cool to see, I think in the second spot in that lobby 2, Koroibos. I'm guessing looks like he's playing the Kennen hero augment. I mean, I will say, I'd kind of think of hero augments as kind of woke to watch, but I feel like they're pretty strong at the moment anyway. So especially ones like the Garen, the Malphite hero augment, I feel like they're pretty free clicks. So I think those ones can be pretty strong if you hit it as well. But yeah, it's looking like Ashe is the top queen at the moment. So we'll see whether that changes anything, whether people are going to be forcing it more, less. Yeah, I am curious to see.
Smithy asking if Bearman was in a reference to Oliver Bearman, who apparently is a British racing driver born in 2005. And I'm going to say, Smithy, 100%. Though I had to look up who that was definitely a reference to that beloved? Maybe. Racing driver, who we can only assume once Udyr is nerfed, Oliver Bearman will be the next most dominating force in all competitive TFT. But we'll be getting our second round started in just a few moments. DG, just stepping aside for a second. So as we head on in, again, apologies, the stream's a lot less put together than it's been in previous weeks, just because I'm all over the place today. It's worth updating guys as to how everybody's been doing. Benzo's we saw before, of course, with that first place. And then European Reside, that's my best guess on their name, and Hampus are the leading players, with Batman, Caribius, and Yurka all in second place at the moment.
yeah, curious to see how it's going to shape up next. What we're going to be seeing. I feel like there are so many encounters at the moment. They added a bunch in the most recent patch, which means there's potential for quite a lot of chaos. Not all of them are that impactful. I had my first run-in with the beach ball encounter yesterday, which I feel like is just it's a fun one. As soon as it happened, I said, you don't know what that is?
No, I've not encountered that yet.
I mean, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Basically, everybody gets a beach ball on their board, and you can run over to it to knock it in the air, and then you can run to wherever it lands to keep bouncing it around. Doesn't do anything, but it's just a light bit of fun.
That's amazing. I don't know how I missed that one coming in. Gosh. Can the opponent interact with it as well?
Yeah, so as soon as I got it, I just typed in chat. I was like, "Everybody, come to my board. Let's play volleyball." And so everybody's just running around trying to keep this beach ball up in the air.
That is absolutely amazing. Also, I feel like there's some good potential to be able to go for a beach ball reskin for Volibear, and then keep the name still be volleyball.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a funny one.
I've gotten it a few times as well as I am coming back here. So yeah, I like the volleyball, the beach volleyball.
Well, welcome back. Let's see. Ooh, I'm having a bit of trouble with spectating Snoop at the moment, so we'll see if we can find ourselves anybody else who's currently playing at the moment. Let's see. So I'll see if we can find some of the other folks we haven't spent too much time with as of yet. Maybe in lobby 2. We've got Enigma, Rogue Cat. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I found a lobby that works. Wonderful. So we'll be joining in with Smack Crabs, which, as much as I usually like to try and jump to the other lobbies, a lot of them weren't working. So we're going to jump back in with Benzo, European Recede, Hampus, Batman, Caribius, Yurka, Smack Crabs, and Sergeant B Blitz. They've got a very weird username, but no matter how weird the usernames are, everybody, the TFT forthcoming should be very good indeed. And hopefully, we'll have a beach ball.
Oh.
I was saying to my friend when we had it, I was like, maybe this would be too broken. I was like, what if the beach ball gave you like 0.1% damage amp for as long as you keep it in the air, each time you bounce it in the air? I think that would be a bit too much chaos, but I thought it would be funny if there was some kind of interaction with the gameplay.
So DG, one of the very few things I remember from my psychology degree, which I failed, as we wait for game 2 to get started, was that if you reward a behavior that somebody would do normally, they will stop doing it unless they get rewarded. So I wonder if that might end up being counterproductive on the beach ball Volibear meta, because of course there's a very serious meeting about the future of competitive volleyball in the TFT space. DG, what are your thoughts?
I mean, all I'm going to say is just do the high Q method. Basically, it's a volleyball anime for those of you who don't know, and just create some very hype moments, and you will have a successful team.
If I remember correctly, Haikyuu was like Yu-Gi-Oh, but instead of playing card games, they played played basketball. Is that a relatively accurate interpretation?
No. Haikyuu is volleyball. The one with basketball was Kuroko no Basket.
Oh, well, there we go. Oh, Hampus is letting us know Lobby 3 was beach ball, and we missed out. How awful. I can imagine.
I will say, I feel like I think the novelty sometimes wears off a little bit quickly. Like, I was playing with it, infinitely in like the first 10 minutes of the game, but then by the end you just kind of lock in enough that I think it gets left a bit behind. But it is, I do like it.
Let me pitch you some ideas as we wait for the second lobby to load in, which will hopefully happen momentarily. What about if you could knock the beach ball from your board over to other people's board, therefore creating the festival experience that everybody needs from TFT?
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be a bit more interaction, maybe somehow. I don't know how you'd make it work. I don't know if it gets a little bit complicated, because I feel like the boards are, like, I think they're like spatially arranged out. I don't know how it's coded, but I feel like they actually have their own location. So I don't know how they do it, but I feel like that would be fun.
I mean, I think there should be like some hidden reward where if you bounce the ball like, I don't know, 300 times or something like that, you get like one gold each. Like if all 8 players just jump in or something like that.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, we've managed to get a working lobby. Apologies, there was some odd technical issues from before. But round 2 is ready to begin here in Counters Casual competition. So in this lobby, hopefully, we've ended up with the right people here. In this lobby, we've got Yurka. So this is table 1 where we were looking to ultimately end up from before. And we'll be starting things off with more loot subscription. Wow!
More variants, more spatulas, more artifacts. Either that or it could be nothing. I've had some very tame loot sub games before where it doesn't really give anything hugely exciting, but the potential is always there.
You're quite right. Or we get the skeleton in a boot and we get nothing.
Well, we'll see, one way or the other. So coming into this lobby, our current front runners are going to be Benzos, European Reside, who is just below there, and Hampus are 3 currently undefeated players. So perhaps coming out of this lobby, gentlemen, we will see one of our players start to run away with the competition.
Yeah, the potential is there. It looked like as well it was maybe like a 6 gold total drop, which I think to my knowledge when you get something like that it can sometimes be split between like sometimes it's gold you'll drop, sometimes it's 2 cost champions, sometimes it's 3 costs. I think we saw whoever we were looking for at the start had 2-3 costs dropped. And Hampus here looks like he's picked himself an early Kaiser, which is always a me Kaiser / Defen. I feel like some of these early reroll champs like Kaiser, maybe even though they're not that strong at the moment, the Lulu with the smolder and stuff. If you get it in early, you can pretty much just angle towards that comp. And starting off with a silver augment once again, nothing too crazy. I'm curious to see what our first loot sub drop is going to be though. But yeah, Hampus, I'm most likely probably going to just be going for Kaiser from this position. Unless, question mark, he has a Garen on his board. Does he want to play Garen hero augment?
Maybe we go for...
He does!
Ooh. I mean, yeah, there's also... And we have the Battle Academia...
Spatula again.
Yeah, the Battle Academia units in the shop. You can go for 5. You get a very nice boost to your stats with the Battle Academia emblem. Sadly, Hampus does not have a tier. However, Kaisa might just be one of those units that can utilize Battle Academia emblem very very nicely, especially because of the extra mana regen, allowing her to cast as often as possible.
Well, something I wanted to pick up on from our previous games, or from a previous game, is Nandonut, you were pointing out that Crystal Gambit was not being used, and that was a surprising factor. In this case, we've got Yurka, who's got Crystal Gambit active from the beginning, and already has a Crystal Gambit emblem that he's not slammed as of yet, because he doesn't even need it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like, Crystal Gambit in general is just so much stronger with an emblem. I'm not sure it's really worth playing without an emblem, to be honest, unless you're just going to use it for a lost streak into cash out. But with that emblem, it unlocks obviously 5 Crystal Gambit much earlier, but the potential for 7 Crystal Gambit, it's just really powerful. And so, yeah, it looks like that's what Jerka is going to be going for, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like we're getting towards the 5 Crystal Gambit, and I think potentially it is going to be the sort of the win streak, the win streak crystal gambit. If Yurka decides to fast level, which he doesn't. He takes a loss from Batman. He takes a loss from Batman and is going to now start that loss streak. But having a win a little bit early on is actually fairly okay because you still haven't doubled down.
Oh, for sure. And I think if we do get up to the 5 crystal gambit, that does, really reduce that reliance on the loss streak tremendously. So we've got the Sergeant over here with AFK. Looks like got a decent early start. They're good for something board from a European reside. One of our leading players. Yurka, who we saw before, cross gambit. Benzos, who's gotten the delayed start in place and a decent board otherwise. Hampus with that Schoolyard Justice. And another AFK player with a very early push into Caitlyn.
Yeah, and I think before we cycled through those, did I actually see? I'm pretty certain I saw Batman had a 2-star Udyr already.
You were not. Your eyes were not deceiving you.
I don't even know where he's gotten that from, because the last time it was the recombobulators, but I think he's just naturaled that somehow.
Gross.
Well, Benzo seems to be favored by the gods, or favored by Mordog. So maybe there's some secret to actually playing the base Echo skin that allows you to sort of grab extra.
And he's
manipulation,
got Young, Wild, and Free as well.
Yeah.
So he can basically he can instantly go for his Ash items, which is, you really need specific items on her. So I feel like this is already such a good setup for Batman.
Exactly.
Alright, let's see what the rest of our top 4 has got for us then. So, European, I'm just looking for it to see. It looks like a good amount of our lobby, in fact, all of our lobby, nobody so far has actually slammed through their emblems. They're all holding off, perhaps looking to figure out which lines are going to be the most open. Yeah,
possibly deciding on what line, or I think for some of them they just haven't hit the component that they need yet for their comp. So yeah, no early power. Sometimes it can be really strong if you have the possibility to open up with that emblem. Even if in the early game you can't hit a huge, like a high number on the vertical, just being able to drop a random unit that you don't particularly want to play for something else stronger can be really powerful. But I mean, Benzo's I think is pretty strong with his 4 2-star champions, even though I don't think there's any. There's a little bit of overlap. You've got the 2 Soul Fighter, so it should be a pretty good spot to streak early. Possibly angling towards Soul Fighter with the Callisto and the Therian, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, some Benzo's board is definitely looking fairly strong, but also our 2 AFK players just getting that extra injection of gold is really, really nice, because while they might not have a lot of tempo right now, with that extra injection of gold, they can get to level 8 much more quickly, and they can get to that late game power in a very accelerated fashion.
I do like from Sergeant Beast as well, compared to Corobius, has managed to preserve a lot more HP while running basically the same early game. You want to take a look through some of the other ones though. So in terms of players who can challenge Batman here, at least in the early going, I mean, we've got one more round left in. It looks like Ipin Batman will go up against one of the AFK boards from before, but it doesn't seem like this win streak is in any danger of being knocked away.
No, it doesn't seem too likely. I mean, it's just a really strong setup. He doesn't have the items yet quite that he wants, not for the backline anyway. But I mean, you get a 2-star Udyr early, like you're pretty chilling.
I also like what Batman did with the Gnar and the Mundo, just having that early luchador power, just giving you the extra bit of healing and power to complement that Udyr tankiness. and just win streak all the way through stage 2. We do see the KL2, we do see the Gangplank as well. So we already know what Batman is going to be going for, and just having those duelists around on the bench confirms that he's fielding some strong units to win streak through stage 2, and now the duelist board is going to come online.
It's certainly going to be pushing a lot of players. Nandonut, you've pointed out before in some of our other lobbies that we're seeing, top fours full of Ash boards. Given that we are in a lobby that's got spatulas and Ikbeam Batman is in such a dominating position early on, this feels like heavy motivation for our other players to try and find a way to cook in this lobby.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we'll see what people come up with, and it looks like it's the 2-star champion for the next drop. Difficult to tell immediately if people have hit anything that's particularly useful for them. Obviously, the champion is like dependent on the stage. I think it's like stage -1, I guess, is the cost champion that you get. European here, trying to figure out what to do. I think he's maybe, angling towards a sort comp. He's managed to, it looks like, reforge the spatula into a pan. So I'm guessing he's angling towards that sorcerers for European.
It's certainly looking like it, and we've already seen the power of 6 sorcerers have tremendous impact, and get you some good placements across the tournament. Not in our featured lobby, where it got 7th place, but that was a very high roll lobby, so I didn't expect 6 sorcerers to be too powerful. Yeah, ooh, dazzling display here could be very, very good.
Yeah, this is interesting because we compare it to the previous versions of sorcerers, which was kind of a percentage less damage. In this case, it's a straight 25 less damage. Won't be taken, instead going to be going for just more raw AP across the squad. So European does find has got the pan rather than the spatula this time round. So it's got the Sorcerer 6, or will have the Sorcerer 6, very far ahead of schedule. We've already got the Magic Pen in here. I'm liking Europeans' chances of being able to put up a decent fight in stage 3.
Yeah, I think it is percentage though, isn't it? Is it not 25% or is it 25 flat?
Oh, we can't see anymore because they didn't choose it.
Did they not? What did they? Oh, they went for the
Crown's Will.
Crown's Will. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's potential. I think you definitely still, you really need your items. I think sorcerers, especially more so than Prodigy, really needs that Shojin. But not having the sword, they've chosen to, slam that Void Staff early. I think you need that for tempo, but it just means we'll see later on what they're going to be able to do if they can hit the items they need. To no one's surprise, Batman's still up there on 100 streaking. I'm honestly wondering how long that's going to last. If he hits an Ash anytime early, I feel like you're pretty much chilling. Although he has taken... Oh, this is interesting actually. He's taken the lesser champion duplicators. I guess just for that 3-star Udyr later on is my guess.
Yeah, I think looking at Benzo's and what he managed to do with Udyr 2, Batman really just decided to say, okay, I'm getting this Udyr 3 and just securing a victory no matter what.
Well, I mean, we are at table 1, so certainly going first place at this point is huge. I mean, Ikbeam Batman came second in the previous game, but coming in first also means you remove the possibility of any of our top performing players from getting the first place for themselves. Up against Benzo's in this round, who has gone for the forward thinking, so has dropped down to 66 HP. It looks like it's another player who's trying to go for the big win out, but taking a big risk to get there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he's playing either. I can't remember what his board was, but definitely risky for sure. I mean, you're pretty much sacking any ability to level or to, pick up units in the meantime. So it's going to be a last minute kind of roll down all your gold and try and hit something. Meanwhile, Batman again with that young, wild and free. First place, 100 gold, 100 health, doesn't matter, still gets to choose whatever he wants on the carousel, and he takes that recurve for the Kraken, which is really what you need together with the Rage Blade on the Ash. So yeah, I think just definitely the person to beat in this lobby.
Yeah, and it's really powerful, especially when you're going on a massive win streak here. And now, just seeing what the Batman managed to get another bow there is just so powerful. As we also see another Soul Fighter here. Well, it is the set, so the Juggernaut emblem has come in. As Smoked Crabs has done a Soul Fighter emblem, and is on 6 Soul Fighter and also win streaking themselves. So I think Batman is going to have some competition very soon, Counter.
Very soon means right now. So we've got the Crystal Gambler emblem locked in place. So these are our 2 win streaking players face to face against each other. It does feel like Igby Batman has been slowing down a little bit preparing for this late game board. The set is very good indeed, and if Smack Crabs can move into pole position in this lobby, Nandonut, this means a lot more money to hit the 8 Soul Fighter on schedule and then make it happen. Batman takes the first loss of round 2.
Yeah, the streak is broken. Smack Crabs continuing with this streak in the meantime, despite being a level down. Just that early set with triple tank items and the 2-star Lux on the backline. It's a 2-star Viego now as well, which is really nice for him. We're seeing Hampus in the chat, who's playing our Garen hero augment.
Wait,
They're
just a second, before you say anything.
Garens.
Deadly Ghost, have you read the chat yet?
I have not.
Okay, great. How many Garens would you anticipate that Hampus has at this point? Bearing in mind we saw them pick up Schoolyard Justice at the beginning of the game.
I would say 19 or 20.
Let's go and see.
19 or 20?
Yeah, apparently we're playing worth the wait as well.
Yeah.
You've got 2 3-star Garens then. That would be pretty nice.
Yes, exactly. I was throwing a random number out just to throw everyone off. However, Hampus having only a 2-star Garen is very, very worrisome.
This seems almost impossible. I mean, I know it's the thing going around at the moment, and TFT community as a whole is very fond of drawing like conclusions without enough data, but this is crazy. I mean, I admire Hampus for still winning, despite the fact that apparently Garen just doesn't exist, but let's go and take a look. Are other people taking the Garens? There are some Garens here.
I mean, I think it's only 3 though from Koroibos, and it's a one.
Yeah, there's still 30 Garens in the pool, or 28, something like that. So this shouldn't be an issue for Hampus.
Yeah, I think the difficulty with the hero augments though, which I think people don't always think about, is not whether you're going to be able to hit the 3-star, it's just when do you hit it. Because the later you hit it, the more HP you're bleeding out. And it's sometimes a type of thing that can get out-capped eventually. So I think that's sometimes why like you see pro players, if they don't have more than like 1 or 2 of the unit when the augment is chosen, sometimes they just won't choose it. Because you're just going to bleed out so much like while waiting to hit that 3-star. And it looks like it's another 2-star unit coming in, because we're on stage 4, it's a 3 cost now. I don't think I saw anything that crazy for people. I saw a couple of Lulus, which is maybe not particularly helpful, but I don't know if anybody hit anything that they really wanted.
No, I can't imagine so. Sorry, I'm entranced by... You know when you can kind of see by the way that someone is rolling when they go beneath 50 and you can sort of feel that the momentum is there against them. You can sort of feel the tilt bleeding through the screen. And I think we got a little bit of that from Hampus. Now up to 5 Garens. We'll go up against Batman's boards, the Young, Wild and Free, Crystal Gambit Online from before. I will say, DG, the only good news in this particular situation, to follow up on Nandonut's point, is that this Garen has been doing pretty well in his rounds. So, you know, if Hampus was getting run over, Garen wouldn't be able to stack up at all. Instead, we've actually got a decent amount of stacks on this Garen, so he can still remain relevant.
All I'm going to say is,
Is he
we'll
gonna
call
gamble?
to chaos. We'll call
Is
to
he gonna
chaos. Give him
gamble?
the rerolls.
If it gives him XP, he might not be in a good spot.
Oh, what did he
It
get?
gave him the
Oh
rerolls.
my god.
Okay.
What
Surely
I'm
with
really
40 rerolls, you can hit Garen 3.
what I'm really mad about is that Hampus could have potentially had a 3-star Rakan and the 3-star Ezreal, but he's just so hyper focused on hitting that Garen, which is really not the
He
way
just
to go
rolled
at
past
it.
one of
As
them.
you skip,
Oh, I missed one.
he just rolled past 2 of them, by the way, while I was
Oh, was
talking.
it 2 of them? I even missed the second
Yes.
one.
Or one.
Oh boy. Okay, there we go.
Okay, he's one off.
I mean, so you've given up 1 silver augment and 1 prismatic augment to be able to hit. Also, all of your economy as well. Aye. Up against Smack Crabs this round, who has upgraded the Soul Fighter board, is coming together at speed, and Hampus's whole game plan feels like it's massively behind schedule.
I mean, you basically
Yeah.
you just have to roll down now, like after the round ends, because you need to hit. Otherwise, this is on stage 4 is where if you're behind tempo on the lobby, you really start bleeding HP. I think he just has to roll down now for the last one. Also, I kind of hear what you're saying, DG, but I think the issue is when you have, especially with the hero augment, when you really need that Garen 3 and you're like kind of behind. If you're spending huge amounts of money on these other 3-stars, it can just put you further behind in trying to hit that hit the unit that you really need. But it does feel bad. He's had to roll past. Well, I say had to. He's rolled past some. I think I've seen a Leona and a Yumi, but he's only level 5, so it's not as if he can fit them in anyway. I'm curious to see how long he's gonna. Yeah.
I think my point was more that excuse me. He sold another Ezreal 2, and then he sort of donkey rolled for it all. I think an Ezreal 3 can also help his case quite a lot here, because he had so many of them in his shop, but.
Alright, let's
Sadly,
give Hampus
is
a
not.
break. Let's give Hampus a break.
Yes,
because
of course.
I think
I
he's
mean,
free enough
this
at this point.
was extremely unlucky. Yeah, that's my ultimate point is this is extremely unlucky, because I've never seen someone have 40 rolls and not hit that
Alright,
that 3-star.
let's move the conversation away from Hampus is what I mean for the time being. Just let him focus on his game. Because we've got some
personally
other
curious
stuff
to
that's
see-
coming through here as well. Bensack, the Benzos, who we're about to drop in with in a second, has come for something a little bit different. We've got ourselves a Smolder Strategist board coming together, which I don't believe I've ever seen before.
This is really interesting. I'm actually curious whether. Can you just hover over the? Okay, never mind. I was going to say
I got baited.
I was wondering whether the Smolder was from that Lulu drop, because if it was, you're going to be severely behind on levels. But it looks like he was using him as a hoarder. I think it's basically this fast 9 comp that caps around Varus and like Zyra, with like Java and strategists, and you kind of just splash in a bit of everything. I mean, he is 9, but he doesn't have any gold to roll for two stars, so I don't know if this board is going to be strong enough to survive.
What I'm really interested in is why is this Rise in the front line?
Oh, for Strategist Shield.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, sometimes you see it in comps like Sorks as well, where you kind of just use the Rise for a bit more frontline.
I mean, it worked here up against Sergeant Beats, who's bringing out the composition we still expected to see do very well. So this is the duelist Udyr board, but Benzo apparently has found, from very low HP, has found a board that's good enough to get past and actually deal with what had otherwise been an overwhelming presence in the other lobbies.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, you.
Yeah, sorry for sort of breaking the order. Was Benzos the person who was going on the massive Crystal Gambit loss streak, or was that Yurka?
Yurka's been
I don't know if
on the emblem for a while, and now Yurka's up to 7
Oh, boy.
Crystal Gambit, including a duplicated Ash too. So, yeah, well, I think we should probably take in a little bit more of what's been going on.
Benzo's just So Benzo's. Oh no, Benzo's had forward thinking.
he
That's
took
why
forward
I was.
thinking, yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. So yeah, both of them with sort of economy builds in the mid game, and both have seemed to cash out and were starting to win out. So it's interesting seeing these two boards going up against each other. And we see Yurka has hit the Ash 2. However, this Varus is giving the Ash a run for her money, especially since it starts to cast now. But Benzo's Varus is a 1-star, and Ash with that 7 Crystal Gambit, with also the added HP from the Crystal Gambit, is able to tank out those arrows.
Yeah, 7 Crystal Gambit is just so strong. I think he took Call to Chaos as well. I'm curious if that's what it is, what it gave him. Random 3-star, 3 cost. Did he have that, or did he sell it? It looks like maybe
it's been
sold
binned.
it. Yeah, I guess
If it was
must
a
have been.
Swain, that would have been ideal, but I suspect it probably wasn't.
Yeah. So I'm guessing he just sold it for the money. And yeah, I was curious to see because okay, we can see in the chat it was a Darius 3. Yeah, it doesn't really fit in. He had the emblem, but oh my god, it's another 2-star champion. This time at stage 5, it's a 4 cost. So I guess we'll see if anybody's hit anything useful here. What I was going to say is it looks like, actually, despite who was it? It was Batman who had that like really strong start. Ash looks like it's now basically 3-way contested. Because we've got Yurka with the Crystal Gambit, and we have got Beats as well, who also transitioned into a duelist comp. So despite being really strong early on, Batman is actually now only on the 1-star Ash. Meanwhile, 2 other people have hit 2-star, so it's going to be pretty difficult for him to hit that.
Yeah, it is very difficult, as we do see the Trickster coming in fairly nicely for Hampus, but sadly, this Udyr is very tanky. I think we can add a new segment to the tournament called Suffering from Udyr. I think many a player have experienced that counter.
Hashtag relatable. Well, we've got one board of Corobius we haven't spent a lot of time with. The Battle Academia board with the 3-star Caitlyn and 3-star Jace. Looking pretty solid. Did go for the invested up to get these 3 stars online. You know, Nandonut, you mentioned how economically taxing this board can be.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed to hit it, but he's basically on last life. And we've got 2 people on last life. It is the battle of the, well, academias, literally. I'm curious to see who is going to be going out here. Hampus versus Korobos. That looked like it was was that an Echo? Maybe that's on a different board. And Hampus, oh man, he's going to be out really unlucky with how long it took him to hit that Garen, and he goes out in last place. And Batman, despite being on that 100 HP for such a long amount of time, he goes out in 7th place. Just ended up being double contested on that Ash and presumably not able to hit in time.
Yeah, being contested that heavily just means you really can't hit it if you don't get it so very early, like Yurka did, and like a couple of our other players have. So it's just a little bit of an unfortunate scenario, as we do see here that Yurka has a Lee Sin and a Braum on his board. He has a Braum in the shop, but the shop has not been locked yet, so will we see that shop get locked?
Well, there's so little room for our players to work with. If you look on the right-hand side, the HP totals are very low indeed, down to 2 lives. I think Yurka, that's 1 life and out. What a good board that still didn't make top 4 overall. European holds on by a hair's breadth. We're down to our top 5, but 3 of those 5 are barely alive.
Yeah, I can't believe Yurka goes out with 7 Crystal Gambit. That is not something you expect to see. I think maybe he hadn't started to hit enough of the rewards yet to push that comp over the edge. I'm kind of curious to see what Smack Crab is doing, because he's been sitting at the top for a while and I couldn't remember. Okay, he's the Soul Fighter board. Wow. The fact that he's been oh wow, he's sitting on the 8-piece as well. 5 more wins to get to that prismatic. I wonder if he's going to be able to get to that point. I was just surprised that the Soul Fighter comp has outcapped the, well, so far seems to have been doing better than the Duelist Ash, the 7 Crystal Gambit, which is out now. We've now got this legendary board from Benzo, which is actually coming together. I really wasn't sure if he'd be able to last long enough, but he's got his 2-star Varus, he's got 2-star Braum as well. So we'll see, I guess, if this is going to be enough to keep him in the game.
I think Benzo's is likely looking at a top 3, unless European's Karma just decides to completely destroy the backline with the lucky spell. But this is also the board from Benzo's that has the Echo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So,
European has the Echo.
oh, European has the Echo. My apologies.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem to matter, as Koroibos and European are both getting eliminated this round, and Benzo's has achieved that top 3, maybe even a top 2, depending on what happens in the next few rounds, because the Soul Fighter board needs 4 more wins to become online, but there isn't enough HP on the rest of the players for it to become prismatic, so it's a little bit of a suffering from success kind of ordeal here.
Let's see. So, well, as we look at our final 3 here again, the Soul Fighter vertical, the Duelist vertical, and the Strategist Varus board, we'll see if top 3 is going to be the top end, but I do want to check in on our top 2 players going face to face against each other. That Samira can put down a lot of hurt, but it looks like in this case the front line's not going to be good enough. Sergeant Beats takes the L, Benzos will survive the ghost match, and Smack Crabs is left in pole position.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised actually. I wouldn't have thought of Soul Fighter as being, I mean, it's definitely a strong comp, but I wouldn't have thought of it as being such a high cap comp, you know, even beating out the Ash. So it's looking quite possible that Smack Crabs might be going in first place here, unless Sergeant Beats can maybe hit like a 3-star Uday out of nowhere, but I think he's still like 3 off, so I'm not sure how likely that is. Yeah, I guess maybe the Radiant IE just doing a lot of work for him.
And DG, something I want to point out for the board, as we got a quick glance at the damage graphs, is that Smack Crabs is getting a comparable amount of damage out of this Gwen 1 as he's getting out of his Samira 2.
Yeah, and it's something that is really overlooked, because we saw a few nerfs come into Sorcerers and a few nerfs to Soul Fighter, so people thought that Gwen is suddenly out of the meta. But no, Gwen is a very strong champion right now. If you field a Gwen with items, and if she's a part of a Sorcerer or a Soul Fighter board, she can still snip your backline very efficiently and just deal a lot of damage. And especially if you give her something like Morellonomicon to have her burn the entire board and just offer a lot of source of backline damage for this Samira to just execute everyone. Sadly, it's not going to work here against Benzos because of that Braum Beyblade spin to win. But yeah, against other boards, I think this Gwen and this Samira can definitely do a lot of damage, especially against Sergeant Beats, who I see another Ash 2 there. So are we in danger of seeing another Ash 3 here?
He's 2 off. He doesn't have a huge amount of gold. I wonder if he's going to sell the Udyrs and look for it, but maybe not. It looks like, though, this level 9 comp with the Varus is maybe outcapping the other 2. This is the fight for top 2 for sure. We're going to see who's going to come out on top.
Alright, Benzo, show us what you've got. Certainly, this is the composition to beat, as you said. in the entire competition, as we see sliding between the raindrops. The Udyr front line stays alive just long enough, and Benzo flew high but dropped down low. Will be able to absorb just enough with Aporo friends to stay alive for another round, but oh boy, it still feels like it's going to be a pretty big ask for Benzos to push through to top 2.
Wow. I for sure thought Benzos was getting eliminated there, but yeah. That was such a close round, and you saw it right there. The Ashe had to get the lucky access into the backline for it to even be that close, and for Sergeant Beast to win.
He's full selling. He's full selling.
Oh,
it's not a 3-star 5 cost, my friend.
It's not happening.
Oh, my
Sergeant
God.
Beats. That could have been a top 2, but I think presumably it's now going to lose to the Ghost and allow for Benzos in. We'll see if Benzos can win, I believe, the real deal matchup, though I'm not 100% on this. So Beats is out -8. I think Benzo is okay because the Varus is miles away from trouble. We have our final 2. 1 HP from Benzos versus nearly 50 from Smack Crabs.
Yeah, I think Beats was playing the real one there, so it was Smack Crabs versus Beats in the real fight. I'm assuming that Beats just thought if he didn't hit that 3-star Ashe, he wasn't beating Smack Crabs anyway, and so he was going in 3rd place either way, so he gambles on it, and now it's the level 9 comp versus the Soul Fighter comp. Yeah, I think something else we saw as well was, I think, is this the 4th stage in a row where we had 2-star champion as the loot sub drop? Because we got the 2 cost, we got the 3 cost, we got the 4, and then we got the 5 cost
so,
as well.
Yes,
so
or close enough.
This has been a very rigged loot subscription.
Very interesting, and yet neither of our top 2 players have hit anything. So we have Gwen here. Gwen 2 coming in for Smack Crabs, which is actually going to help out quite a bit, because Gwen 1 was already problematic enough for everyone in this lobby, but the Gwen 2 can just do so much and help out that Samira. And we're already seeing Benzos' board just struggling to deal
Hold
with
that thought.
Gwen, but ooh.
Yeah, even with Gwen 2 coming in, Benzo's still able to just rip through the board. Let's start to break down this matchup then, since apparently we're going to be seeing it a few times. We've now got, okay, so on Benzo's side, we've got the 2 backline carries, the 3 itemized frontline carries. On Smack Crabs, we've got our 2 primary carries and Set as the tank, with Zyra kind of providing a secondary push. Now, Donuts, from your side of things, what do you feel like is going to be the most swingy part of this matchup?
So I was wondering actually, because I think I saw on Benzos, he's got double Stormbender as his power-ups, and I'm not sure what the 2-piece is for that. When you run both of them, okay, both champions contribute damage. The Storm is bigger. I'm wondering if this is maybe something that's turned the tide in favor of Benzos, because it looked like he would have been on his way out. I've not actually seen double Stormbender before.
No.
It's very good, especially when you have a lot of AoE damage. But I think the real problem was that his Jarvan didn't have some amazing items. However, this Varus is just doing so much damage, and this Cassante with that second life is just beating Smack Crab's board to a pulp. And we've now gone from Smack Crabs almost assuring the win to Benzos on 1 HP, taking that victory and just saying, you don't get to win this, I'm going for the full 3-peat.
Well, let's look at upgrade potential then. If we can acknowledge Benzo is currently tipping over the edge with a double Stormbender. For Smack Crabs, the only place which I'm immediately seeing some potential development here is maybe a 3rd item for the Yone, but other than that, I mean, maybe we see some fruit change up here in stage 7 to try and get something with a little bit more punch.
I mean, the loot sub drop was gold. Benzos has gone 10. I'm wondering whether if there's anything he can actually hit on there that's of much use to him. I was wondering what that drop was going to be. it doesn't look like Smack Crabs can really do that much because his board is capped. And actually Benzo's does not really have anything to add on either. This is so close. I think stage 7 is 17 damage base, so if he takes a 3-unit loss, he's dead here. If it's a very close one though, he might have one more life.
Alright, Benzos did manage to get Sniper in, so there's a little bit more punch behind that Varus. It's looking like it could just be good enough. It's not going to be a 3-unit loss, DG. It's going to be an overrun, and Benzos comes back from 1 HP to take lobby 2.
Oh my god, that was so unlucky there, because you had the Varus starting to cast as the Samira went in for the AoE damage, and 4 arrows from the Varus just sniped out that Samira, that poor Samira that was just trying to, you know, emulate that Braum and try to spin to win, but it wasn't the case. And I feel like if the Samira had lived there, if she had gotten her full cast out, then it probably would have been a much closer affair, and maybe even Benzos would have lost. But no, 1 HP in the dream, and Benzos turns his dreams into reality.
Alright, thank you for the follows from Scarlett and Kofi. We are wrapping things up here in round number 2. It looks like we've only got a couple more results still to come in, so we won't try and jump into their lobby because it will probably be done about the time we get in there anyway. Instead, we will take ourselves our final break of the competition. When we return, we'll of course be reviewing the other lobbies from round 2, and then jumping into our final round of the competition, where of course we'll be up at table 1, looking to crown ourselves an ultimate champion for today. Stay tuned, we'll be back in 7 minutes time. Welcome one and all back to Counter's Casual Competition. Our last round is just about to begin. Trying to grab you some of the lobby results from the previous round before we get our final lobby underway. So let's bring that onto stream and we'll do a best job of trying to make that visible in a way that's visible for everybody. So you can't see it, but I'm blowing this up for our casters so it's a little bit more visible. So this, I believe, was... Let me just double check. This is Table 2 from round number 2, which Sky won out with, honestly, what looks to be a pretty standard board overall.
Surprise, surprise. It's the, you know, the SpongeBob meme with the guy ordering at Squidward. It's like, I'll have a Duelist Ash with Colossal Udyr.
Well, let's take a look at our other lobby, which was won by something... Okay, there we go. This is something a little bit different. We've got, well, immediately the top end is still somewhat familiar, but a Battle Academia being built around the 3-cost reroll, and Snoop managing to build out a Protector smaller composition, also around 3 costs as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking very interesting. I'm actually surprised that the 4th place board didn't end up higher, because look at that. That's a 3-star Udyr, a 3-star Yasuo, a 3-star Darius, a 3-star Kai'Sa, and 3-star Kabuko. With Mentor Supreme Cells, that on paper that should have been a board that got much higher, but looking at the other comps, this also looks like a very high roll lobby from a lot of people.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It does look like he was stuck on level 7. I'm actually wondering, this is a huge inference, but I'm wondering whether he got something like max cap, which kept him stuck on level 7, but he had like infinite gold to roll for all those 3 stars. But yeah, interesting one to see.
It wouldn't be a 7 units then on the board, because max cap also gives you a Tactician's Shield, so it would be 8 units.
Oh, true.
Oh, true enough.
Maybe he just was rolling on 7.
Well, Beats, just before we get into game 3, Beats would like us to performatively stretch just to make sure we're ready for the final round coming up. The situation,
I feel like
of
I
course...
do this anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just generally a good idea. So the status for anyone who's not following the scores at the moment coming into this one is Benzo is leading the final lobby, which we're just loading into now, 16 points, which is a completely perfect tournament so far. Smack Crabs, Sky, and the rest of the lobby are at best 3 points behind, at worst 4 points behind, so very much Benzo the player to beat going in.
Oh boy, and look what we have here for our final lobby of the day. If it isn't Trainer Golems.
Now this opens up quite a lot of interesting opportunities for gameplay, especially because I don't know if you guys saw, but there was already 4 sorcerers activated on 1-4, which means we have a lot of interesting things to come up, as we have aura farming getting offered to Benzos, and he immediately rerolls it.
Yeah,
not quite up for it.
By the looks of it, he's got, I saw Executioner and Prodigy, which is making me think leaning towards Academy. I wonder whether he goes something like Investment Strategy and rerolls Katarina. No, he takes Healing Orbs. I feel like your most likely spot from this is... Well, I say that there is Wraith and Prodigy. You could try doing like a Malzahar reroll as a possibility.
I think it could be something like the Jin 6 Wraith board that we saw, because you already have the JG components.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Gansler, yes, Trainer Golem for the finals is absolutely wild. So we already mentioned Benzo is coming to this one on 16 points, 3 points ahead of Smacked Crabs, who is the closest player to be able to catch up with Benzo, though it's still going to be a pretty big ask. Everybody else in the lobby has got 12 points or less, so if Benzo doesn't bottom 4 this lobby, we've got a pretty good idea of what our top 2 will look like. But Smack Crabs has gone the route less traveled. Let's be the legs and look for that ultimate combination of augments.
Will we see Exodia? That is the real question. Sorry, I went a little bit Shakespearean there. To be or not to be.
Oh right, I thought you meant Exodia was actually from Shakespeare. I was like, I must have missed that play.
Imagine if Shakespeare invented the term Exodia.
Alvolio, summon Exodia and destroy the Capulets.
I'm just wondering what he's actually going to play, because he's got Supreme Cells, Strategist, and is that Juggernaut?
Yes, Juggernaut, Supreme Cells, and Strategist. So Strategist works fairly well with the mech as well, because getting that extra bit of shielding just offers you quite a lot of power. But I'll Be the Legs almost certainly locks in Crabs with the Mighty Mech, and I think a Juggernaut frontline while you build up your Lucian Karma board is really strong. So I think if it is a triple gold augment, we might see Exodia come in from the Mighty Mech, because we are off to a very good start. And even I'll Be the Legs on its own, if you're fully investing into Mighty Mech, could be very good.
Yes, we can see here, it's a small buff early on, just to make that Mighty Mech. I mean, to be fair, at this point in the game, 59 more magic resist, 100 health isn't nothing, especially if you can get Mighty Mech 5 online. I do want to bring in what Gansling was saying here, though, in terms of the overall game. Again, Benzo's is 3 ahead of Smack Crabs, 4 ahead of everybody else, or even more. So a top 4, absolutely, as Gansling was saying, would be all that's really necessary to make sure Benzo closes out the tournament. I have to wonder, though, if the pride of a player who's gone first place 2 times so far would be satisfied with not going for a 3rd.
Yeah, which is why I'm a little surprised on the other side from Smack Crabs, because I feel like what he's going for, it doesn't strike me as having the highest cap, like with the trainer golem that he has. I feel like if you're going for first place here, you're looking at your synergies on your golem, and you're like, what can I build that makes the most use out of these? And if what you're saying, DG, is right, then he's got like early Juggernaut frontline, and then he's kind of got Strategist for his Jarvan, but like his carries don't really benefit, assuming he's using like the Karma, for example, don't really benefit from any of the synergies. So I don't know how high of a cap this has, assuming he doesn't hit the triple mech augment, but I guess we'll see.
It really depends on what comes after, because we saw here the Kabuko also coming in, so we could potentially see a Mighty Mech mentor board, which is sort of a little bit of an a little bit of a throwback comp from previous patches. So it's all up in the air right now for Smoke Crabs, but I do think that Smoke Crabs is just trying to field the best board possible right now to minimize the losses, because this board will require some form of rolling down later on, so you have to have at least a little bit of HP to save up.
Well, as European takes a loss off of that previous round, I do want to bring in front and center Snoop, who is on 10 points overall, so the lowest points player in the lobby in fact, the lowest points player in the lobby, full stop. So it's almost impossible to see Snoop actually win this lobby, but there's a much more realistic possibility of being able to push through, get a 2nd place, and then still receive the same prize.
Yeah, and I mean, the line is pretty much set up for him, right? You've got Prodigy, you've got Battle Academia, like, minimal thinking required, just, econ, level up, click your units, and pray that it's enough.
Yeah, so it's surprisingly a very easy board to play. as we do see an early Akali from Sergeant Beats, but it didn't work against the board of it was Smack Crabs, yes, and it certainly isn't working right now. Will we see a resurgence from last patch of the Akali protectors here? But the real problem is here that you kind of have a couple of emblems that don't really go well with each other, with the Star Guardian and Supreme Cells. So you kind of have a mishmash of a few things. As okay,
Yeah. I was gonna
we
say.
go from 2% hit to another 2% hit, and we have 6 Sorcerer online on 2/7.
I had a feeling that he was, using that Akali early on, but with Star Guardian and Sorcerer, I feel like angling towards one or both of those sounds like it makes a decent amount of sense. And it makes me wonder as well for Smack Crabs, who's in second place, whether he's going to have an issue finding that if he's going to use that Karma as a carry later on when it's firstly being contested, and secondly, who was it? Beats that we just saw has got Cluttered Mind as well, so he's going to be ahead of the XP curve when it comes down to rolling for that Karma at level 8. So might spell some difficulties for Smack Crabs if he wants to contest Benzo for that first place.
We can't afford to waste any time. DG, we are 1 round away from seeing if Smack Crabs can assemble the Ultra Mech, which we know can completely destroy everything. I do want to take a second just to dance back in and check in on Snoop, who is, again, undefeated in the lobby so far, finding a very, very good combination of these early emblems. I think, based on what we've got going on here, fairly likely to maintain that streak heading deeper into Stage 3.
Yeah, looking at it, Snoop is definitely at the forefront of this game, at least so far. And another very, very interesting thing is here that Sky, who we just saw Snoop go up against, is also going very deep into that Sorcerer, and we saw Duelist board getting played here. So there's it's a silver augment, so that means that the Mighty Mech is going to get stopped as the random silver augment screws Sky out of 6 sorcerers.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
TFT players and gambling, name a more iconic duo.
I mean, I couldn't possibly comment, but Silver Destiny for Sky. I mean, to be fair, you're on 65 HP right now. That is a big training dummy. That is a 10,000 HP training dummy that will only continue to get stronger. I think we've got kept our items relatively generic. It does look like we've got some potential good moves into maybe Prodigy later on, but up against some of these other boards that are much more together, Sergeant Beats with those sorcerers, I mean, at least that dummy will be able to absorb the karma damage for quite a long time, but of course once it does blow up, it's going to be taking the rest of the board with it.
The big problem there is you already have a Karma with triple items as well as Mage on her, so those 2 discs are doing a huge amount of damage, and that training dummy having 0 resistances is not helping Sky's case at all.
I'm wondering if we can check back in on how Benzo is looking, because from looking at some of these other boards, I feel like, well, whether we look at the other boards or not, I feel like a lot of this lobby and the outcome of the tournament is depending on how safely Benzo can hit a top 4, top 3. His HP is looking pretty good. His board is pretty much based around a front line at the moment. And yeah, I'm curious to see what line he's going to go. Maybe it is that Malzahar reroll. I guess we'll see. You're certainly using the Wraith and Prodigy emblems if you're going for that.
Well, I suppose, we're in a situation where everybody's got the trainer golem, everyone's got a little bit more frontline, so you've got more time for, aspects like the Wraith, like we talked about in previous games, to really take hold as Skyless. I love the mid-match interviews in the chat as well. Sometimes you got to gamble and win, other times you're just gambling. And we all appreciate that. We're all about that life here as well. Smack Crabs up against Benzo in this round. DG, as was mentioned, Benzo's the player to be in this lobby. I think this particular round is going to be going against him, but I suppose good news is he doesn't really have too much of a streak to worry about either.
No, not really. And
Well,
this Shen,
say
the
that.
Shen powered up by the power of the Wraith portal,
Wow.
is going to beat Smack Crabs. So the early damage from the Malzahar was enough to provide a bit of extra healing to the Shen tankiness and just give him that victory there. Gentlemen, I feel like everything is coming up Benzos in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean that Malzahar dot continues to tick, and of course the Wraith, whatever it's called, entity damage is based off the amount of damage that Wraith units have been doing. So even though Malzahar's dead, he's still contributing to that Wraith proc and also to the heal. So yeah, pretty clutch there from Benzo.
Again, a reminder, we'll say this definitely too many times, but it's worth restating. Benzo completely undefeated so far. I mean, right now in second place, as we said before, doesn't have to win this lobby, but of course will be an extra bonus and unlocking one of the hidden titles of the tournament if you can clean sweep the whole thing. Snoop, though, currently in top position. The Prodigy Battle Academia board, I mean, it's looking fantastic. We've got the fire sale in here to make sure that Snoop stays economically afloat as well, up against Smack Crabs in this round.
Oh, that's looking very, very interesting. I think these are our top two boards, or at least. Oh no, that's Illusion 1. I thought it was Illusion 2. So, yeah, but I still think this is a very good board from Smack Crabs, and it's giving Snoop around for his money. However, having this early Yumi for Snoop is really, really powerful, and he just gives Crabs another loss, knocking him out of the top 4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm less convinced. I don't know if you mean right now from Smack Crabs or generally, but I feel like he's going to have a difficult time capping out with the minimum one. I feel like it was maybe 2 people playing Sorks, or was it just the other board that we saw? Yeah, this was the potential Sorks as well. I think Smack Crabs is going to have a tough time capping out, but I guess we'll see as it goes on. And as for Snoop, who we were looking at, actually, well, speaking of, Koroibos is someone we've not looked at. I don't think we've even seen his golem, because we've got a Crystal Gambit emblem on there, which, the potential for 7 Crystal Gambit earlier. It looks like he's struggling a bit at the moment. He's got 1 Ash in there, but we'll see whether it's enough to be able to snowball or not against some pretty strong boards in this lobby.
I mean, it feels like, particularly with the Udyr Colossus, and in this case, I guess a rough approximation of a Colossal Udyr in the form of that Dummified Golem, that being able to just get your damage past the frontliner and, take out the backliners feels so incredibly important. Sky, though, able to take shelter for a very long time, which giving Ari a lot of space to continue to pump through her damage. I do think, though, with the Edge of Night and the Grinseys together, Koroibos has a really good spot for winning out close end of rounds.
It's also a very important win for Koroibos, because this board really caps out at level 8 once you can hit that Zyra, and just being that little bit of extra healthy, going into stage 4, being 50 HP instead of like 45, 46, just gives you that extra life that you might need to hit that 7 Crystal Gambit and hit that Ash 2 if you've not been lucky enough right now. So it was a very important round there for Koroibos, and also brings Sky one step further down the HP ladder.
Yeah, we're hitting 4-1 now. Seeing people are going to start rolling down. Rogue Cat, who I feel like we've also not looked at all, with the Duelist emblem, presumably just angling towards that Duelist line, although unfortunately the Edgelord and Luchador, I'm not sure, is something that's really splashed around. I suppose he could have tried for a Volibear maybe with Edgelord and Luchador, but it looks like he's... Well, actually, I'm not sure with those items what he's angling towards. Maybe it is the Duelist, because he's kind of got half He's got the Kraken for the Ash, and then he's got the Sterak's and the Titans for the Udyr. But it just doesn't look like he's got the rest of the items or the units at the moment. But we'll see how it goes for him.
A really interesting spot for Sergeant Beats. In this case, I think it's going to be very hard to deal with some of these boards that, in this case, have gotten much more developed. The Cluttered Mine into now the Karma being online on the other side with the Shred as well, assistance from Lux. Looking very, very good indeed. I do realize there's a lot of boards we haven't necessarily gone into depth in as yet, but let's get the third augment out of the way and then we can start scouting through everybody.
It's interesting looking at the Tesla coil here being offered, but because Sergeant Beats, I think, does have a few itemized units, but malicious monetization is really good, especially because you do have Cluttered Mine, so that automatically makes you have a little bit less money. So it's an interesting augment. You almost never see someone take an economy augment on Fort 2 unless absolutely necessary. But in this case, for Sergeant Beats, it's almost warranted to get malicious monetization because of that Cluttered Mind.
Yeah, he's rolled down, but he's not found much at all. I mean, you really want that. Jarvan is off on your front line, and you want that 2-star Karma, and he's still just sitting on 1 Karma. Taking malicious monetization, farm as much gold as you can, and then I imagine roll down for your 4 costs, and then try and econ back up to 9 to spec in that Gwen that can really take the comp to the next level.
I mean, it's so important for Beats to be able to get the round wins in here to get the maximum value out of monetization. At least it's worked one time. Snoop up at the top, still undefeated, 2 full stages and change in, is of course putting down the pressure on the rest of the lobby. Sky down to 12 HP. The Sorcerer Mighty Mech board, talking about that being more contested on the Karma. Sky will finally get the Karma 2 online.
And you could see, sorry, I just noticed you could see Beats scouting out the board here because it's obviously the same units that he's contesting. I wonder if your Beats, whether you just hold off and try and wait for Sky to drop out. But with that 2-star Karma, 2-star Jarvan, and that massive dummy, it might be a while before he goes out. So I'm wondering from Beats' perspective, what you do? Do you continue to roll, or do you continue to wait and hope that somebody knocks Sky out?
I mean, it's certainly a very interesting point, because you're sort of going for the same units, and this training dummy, while it did hurt Sky initially, it has now proven to be his biggest ally simply because of how much tankiness it has here. And you know, Sky has slowly but surely started to win. You have Benzo's actually down in 7th place, who has now been on a massive loss streak. And Smack Crabs, who was 7th 2 rounds ago, is now slowly climbing up the ranks. So a few interesting things have happened ever since that augment round.
As we come deeper into stage 4 and onto the carousel, Snoop, you're losing out on the win streak, no longer undefeated, but the legacy remains. HP across the field, as you said, has really dipped down overall. We've got 30 and below from most of the players, or at least the bottom 4 in the lobby right now. Do remember, Smack Crabs is the player best in position to challenge Benzo for the crown of the competition itself. Of course, both of them are currently in the bottom 4, and if Benzo's does go out, then that will open up the door for a lot more players to potentially win.
Wow, there's a couple of pretty spicy things going on here. Benzo's here, hits his 3-star Malzahar. It looks like he's leaning kind of towards the Battle Academia Prodigy with Malzahar as the carry, as opposed to that Wraith. But Smacked Crabs kind of cooking a little bit. He's gone for the 4 Mentor, 5 Strategist with Rise as your backline carry, which is something that I don't think we see all too often, but he might be making it work.
Yeah, he's completely forgone Mighty Mech units because of how much he got contested on it, which I do have to say, a very smart adaptation from Smack Crabs, which is obviously working since he's slowly climbing up the ranks. It's going to not work against Koroibos, who has hit that Ash 2 right now, So, sort of unlucky that it's happening against him, that the other players are hitting their boards. But yeah, looking at this Jarvan, he's an absolute unit, an absolute tank, and this Rise, while it has been nerfed a little bit, he's still fairly strong. So if this Rise and Karma can manage to sort of slice through a board, it could still be extremely beneficial for Smack Crabs, and it could give him a beneficial result. It could potentially contest Benzos, who is right now in dire straits.
Yeah, we've got Sky and Benzo both on very, very low HP. I'm going to take a second just to recognize what's going on from European side. Here we've got a 8-star Guardian board, including the Varus carry, so definitely something a little bit different. Also with the treasure hunt in place. So we'll keep our eyes closely on Benzo. Benzos and Sky both winning the previous round means that we're starting to see the rest of our lower HP players dropping down. Now 3rd place and below all have got 30 or less HP coming into stage 5.
I feel like this is getting really both spicy and slightly complicated. I feel like that gif of the woman with all the math, symbols coming out around her head. I'm trying to figure out what the consequences are. Benzos really needs to hold on. If he can't, then the gates are really open for anybody to take that first place. We saw Smack Crabs with his strategist comp. It does feel a little bit bad that he's basically down the gold augment at the moment because he doesn't even have Mighty Mech in play. But we'll see whether it's enough. Stage 5, we're getting to the point where it's potentially a bad loss for somebody at the bottom, could mean that they're out.
Yeah, I believe Sky is now officially on 1 life because of the 10 health per loss. Yeah, so Sky is officially on 1 life, cannot afford to lose a single round, is basically banking on hitting that Gwen 2 and sort of have her way, sort of have Gwen be the carry there with that Karma, as we do see the fusion dance, which is interesting, but it's not unheard of. We've already seen fusion dance have some tremendous success, but the big problem is here it's going up against Smack Crabs, who's slowly but surely destroying this board. But
is it enough?
No, the Rise is stuck on the training dummy, and that training dummy is doing overtime.
Benzo stays alive too. It looks like Koroibus on the other side has got his Crystal Gambit board going, I think. It looked like he was one off a Swain 3. He's got, that's his Ash 2, 7 Crystal Gambit. I mean, it's really all to play for. Like, you could tell me any outcome that's possible and I would believe you.
Well, again, the biggest question remains, Benzo's undefeated so far. If he makes it into top 4, a very good chance that he will win overall, and particularly if Smack Crabs, the closest contender for top 1, goes out in this round. We'll see if perhaps Smack Crabs can win out against Rogue Cat's Luchador Ash board. It's looking pretty scary, and I just don't know if there's enough punch behind this Rise.
It's certainly very scary, but that second stun from the J4 might be enough. However, this Ash is doing so much damage, and the Rise gets stuck on the illusion, and so Smackcraft gets eliminated. In 8th place, the main contender gets eliminated as Benzos takes a victory against Sergeant Beats, and it's almost all but done. If Benzos gets to survive 2 more rounds and see two more players eliminated, Benzos will all but secure the victory here.
Looking across the rest of the lobby, Smack Crabs was on 13 points. Nearly everybody else is on 12 points. We can kind of treat them all equally with each other. The only player who kind of defies that is going to be Snoop, who's currently in 1st place. Came into this lobby 2 points behind anybody else, so really needs that first. But Benzo keeps on hanging on. That win streak is intact. This board just keeps getting stronger. We're up to 5 Prodigy right now, Nandonut, and I don't think this is showing any time to slow him down. Though I say that and immediately he dies. Oh boy.
A little bit close though, because he's relying pretty much solely on that Cassante and that Malzahar. He is on 1 HP and a dream. He really needs to secure that. Pretty much top 5, top 4, I think, guarantees it. 5th place is maybe close depending on who wins. Is there anything useful for him? I'm noticing a Crystal Gambit emblem. I'm not sure if it's how useful it is for Koroibos. I don't think he's anywhere near hitting 10, but it would still probably be... Okay, it's going to be taken away by Sky. I don't know if that was just a denial or if he actually wanted the TF. Possibly it was just a denial, but I mean, it's really down to Benzos now. If he loses the next round, I think there's still potential for somebody else to take the victory.
We saw what happened the last round, right? How Benzos basically went from 1 HP on to win the lobby. So this is still anyone's game at this point, and I feel like it's very sad that red buff isn't a Morellonomicon for that Malzahar, but other than that Malzahar and that Cassante, Benzos doesn't really have anything else helping him out here. The Seraphine does not have a lot of Star Guardians to help him out, and he's going up against Snoop, who sort of has an evolved version of his board aside from that Malzahar.
Yeah,
that could be
I'm
the
not sure if
difference
it's going to
maker.
be enough for Benzos here. The other Prodigy board just looks that much stronger. He's definitely not going to be living this. And really now... Oh, it's closer than I thought, but he still goes out in 6th. The question now becomes, I think, who takes that first place? I actually feel like it's possibly in Benzo's interest for Snoop to win the lobby, because I don't think Snoop has any way of catching him, right?
So Benzo with a 6th place will guarantee 3 more on top of what he started with, so that's 19 total. And you're right, Snoop has a maximum of 18, even with winning the entire lobby, so that would be the ideal situation. For everybody else though, on 12 points, would put them immediately to 20, which means they would overtake Benzo, previously undefeated.
I have bad news to share though.
Ooh, what's
Because even if Snoop wins out, a 2nd place from anyone from our 12-point holders will actually grant them the win of the tournament.
Oh, okay. Well, we're getting into the deep math situation. We'll have to revisit it. Fortunately, the tiebreakers are built into our sheet by Wet Noodles, so we'll be able to know for certain. Kribos going out low. That's one of our 12-point players. We're down to Sky, Roadcat, and Snoop. Snoop again, who is, taking points away from the potential contest onto Benzo.
You can see Koroibos in the chat, 2 gold. I think he needed that 2 gold to buy the last Swain that was in his shop to hit Swain 3. I think maybe that would have been enough for Koroibos to survive there with the 7 Crystal Gambit. But we're into our top 3. It is where the maths is getting complicated. I think that if Sky or Roadcat get 2nd, that would give them 7 points, which would put them on the same as Benzo.
Yes, so Benzo's tiebreakers are about as good as they could be.
They are, yeah, that's true. I think it would require either Sky or Roadcat to get first to win, wouldn't they?
I think that's a reasonable assumption to go with, but again, we will get final confirmation once the points are in place. You have to know Benzo is going to be watching this one very carefully. Snoop is still in the HP lead by a long way, but Sky is roaring up the standings. 18 HP and 1 gold in the bank, but an 8-round win streak.
What's really funny for me is that this big training dummy that now has probably around 15,000 HP has been the sole savior of Sky's board here. And look at Sky. Sky is just demolishing every other board with that Gwen 2, with that Fusion Dance, and the Fusion Dance is actually a very smart decision because you have 6 Sorcerer online and it absorbs basically the it absorbs the stats from the Lux, but also having the Lux absorbed with the 2 Soul Fighter being active just gives Gwen a lot more stats. And so it's basically stat stacking on stats stacking on stat stacking. Try saying that fast 17 times. And I feel like Sky might be on track to snatch the victory away from Benzo's hands.
Yeah, I feel like this is the battle that might determine it going forwards. If Sky can beat out Snoop, which it looks like it is doing quite handedly, that dummy, you know, I feel like when gambling, it's not often that you gamble and you think you've lost, but actually you end up winning. But I think this is a rare scenario where it's turned out to be a good thing, despite looking like it might have screwed him over at the start.
Yes, Sky in the chat saying Gamma paid off. A direct quote from what's looking to be our tournament winner. Remember, Sky came into this one with a 5th and a 1st, so also tiebreakers from Sky are pretty good. Another 1st place would guarantee the 20 points, which means that Sky would definitely be winning. Roadcat and Snoop, they're both on a single life each. This could be the final round.
This could be it, and we're looking at. Oh, so we're swapping some TGs around, some items around, just to have some better optimization. As Roadcat is up against the main board of Sky, and if Snoop is against Sky's Ghost, then that could spell it. But first we have to see how this round goes, because Roadcat is certainly faring a little bit better than Snoop's board here. However, that training dummy is so big, and Sky eliminates everyone, and Sky takes the victory based on one of the unluckiest silver rolls, turning into his ultimate companion, his biggest tank, taking the victory in game number 3. What a turnaround.
I mean, the sky's the limit, apparently. Sometimes you just need to take the big gamble and play off. I'm going to see if Sky is willing to talk to us on stream, if they've got a microphone which can work, just to kind of, I think, just to process what happened during that last one. We can see, I'll see if I can get these up on broadcast. Apologies in advance, this is probably not going to look really bad in terms of graphically, but let's see if we can get our standings shown. Let's see, player results. Oops, looks like, sorry, apologies for that. I've chroma keyed this one, so there we go. And let's change this to our oh, it must be, apologies, this must be to a different version of the same idea. There we go. Then we do a little bit of swift editing to see if we can make this even remotely readable. Whoop. Whoop. It's good enough to be able to read on stream. I'll cover my own face. So we can see that it did end up pretty much as we expected it to, with a really tight contest towards the final spot. Benzo did just enough in that final game to creep ahead on the amazing tiebreakers coming into the last round, and at least clinch the second.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a close one, wasn't it? If he'd gotten one placing higher, I actually don't even know what happens then, because Benzo and Sky would have had the exact same placements, 1-1-5, so I don't know how that works. But yeah, Benzo maybe feeling a bit bad, maybe feeling a bit unlucky that it was trainer golems and he didn't hit anything too crazy, but I mean, yeah, I think 2 words from me, and that is dummy diff.
Yeah, I mean, this is so powerful. We have so much. We have so many, you know, close battles that happened here. I mean, game 2 just simply game 2 having a lot of you know, very close fights here. It was just amazing. You know, Benzo's winning out on 1 HP here in game 3. Everything being uncertain up until those last 2 fights as well, just means that this was one of the closest tournaments ever.
Well, let's get Sky in and see what they have to say for themselves as our new champion. Sky, welcome to the stream. Congratulations. I don't think that could have been a closer win.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild actually.
What were your kind of
I-
expectations coming into that final round? Did you feel like you were in position to come in and actually take the tournament?
I knew I was 4 points behind, so I was gonna play either first or eight, so that's why I chose the augments that I chose. But I thought everything was done after I got the dummy because he messed up my clutter mind, and I lost 2 rounds worth of value. So I thought I wouldn't be able to go fast 8-4-1, but I guess I did anyways.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, which is basically what was going through your mind when you hit that dummy. I didn't realize actually that you were the cluttered mind player, so that screws up both your economy and your cluttered mind XP, I guess.
Yeah, I was literally like, okay, GG, go next, fun tournament. But I was pretty lucky that I hit Karma pretty fast in 4-2. And then, honestly, what made me win out was eating Gwen at 8. So I ate Gwen at 8, and that was GG's after that.
Yeah, it was the carousel that got you the Gwen, and then you just hit the Gwen too, if I remember correctly. Or was it you actually who got malicious monetization as well to give you that cluttered mind value?
No, I didn't get that. Basically, I got Gwen from Carousel, and then I was just rolling for front line. Yeah, I was rolling for front line. I got a second Gwen. I was at 12 HP, so I was like, no point saving money for 9. So I just rolled and I hit it. So
No,
Yeah,
just
I
hitting.
mean,
That's an astonishing
just
performance.
hit, basically.
Just
yeah.
hit.
Just hit the best tactic in TFT.
Well, just before we let you go as our champion, well, I'll kind of leave this somewhat open to you as a kind of final thought for the day. Is there anything you'd like to let the good folks know about in terms of either, kind of the meta, anything about any of your, the players you played against today? What kind of champion's thought would you like to leave us with?
I'd say the meta is pretty boring at the moment, to be honest with you. It's basically you either play Ashe or play Sorks, and essentially if you hit first, you'll probably win it. But I'd say I'd rather play these than play against Akali for sure.
We're making progress. All right, just before we let you go, Sky, is there anything or anybody that you would like to shout out, in terms of any products that you're involved with, any social media that you have that you'd like people to know about as our champion?
No, really, shout out to you guys. It was my first tournament. I found you guys on Reddit, and I might join in more often. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Extremely well done. All right, Sky, we're going to let you go for the time being, just because we need to do the rest of the prizes for the day. But again, congratulations on a spectacularly won win here at Cancer's Casual Competition. May your reign last long into the sunset.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, guy.
All right, so guys, we still got a few more items of business to do before we are done here today. So let me just grab the wheel of names. So we know that Benzo and Smacked Crabs were our 2 winners. So they will be gaining the same prize as each other. So hopefully Benzo doesn't feel too bad about the competition overall with that in mind. So let's see. So Sky and Benzo. But we've got to get the rest of our players, chuck them into the wheel of names. And then hopefully we'll end up with our other 3 players as well. So let me just see if I can get that set up and visible on the stream. Let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let me tell you guys, it's always fun to be trying to edit this stuff while yapping. Well, I do actually. From both of you guys, what sticks in your mind most strongly coming out of that event?
Well, I need to reevaluate how much I play Ashe in these lobbies and in my ranked games.
Yeah, I feel like Ashe is the dominant one. I mean, I've been seeing this in my games anyway, 2 to 3 people contesting it. But you know, I was glad to see that at the end in our final round, it wasn't even an Ash that won it out. So you know, there's always potential if you, well, I was going to say if you play well enough, or also if you hit hard enough. Some combination of the two.
Well, for our other 3 giveaways, as well as our Northern Legends giveaways, which we will do in a little bit, but these are our Riot Supply prizes. Deadly Ghost, would you mind? We'll each do a little 3, 2, 1 countdown in the manner of your choosing. So, DG, can you start us off for our first of our 3 full random prizes today?
Seeing as my voice is a little bit tired, I will not be experimenting with my usual voices. So, champions, get ready to roll in 3, 2, 1. Aha!
All right, who's it gonna be? Emrujan, congratulations. So let me just make sure I've not noted that down. Emrujan. Nandonut, would you do the honors for number 2?
I shall, and I think I've got to do it with both something that's been prominent today and also that we've seen all 3 of. So, in Ash 1, Ash 2, Ash 3.
I was enjoying that so much I forgot to spin. Let's see who is the one who is going to benefit most. It's going to be Dennis. Congratulations, Dennis. Our second random winner. And let's go 3, 2, 1. For our final main winner. And then, of course, afterwards, we'll be using the same list of people for the Northern Legends prizes, which are a little bit smaller, but not by too much. And that's Fallen Jake, so hopefully they are in a taggable form on the server. Let's see. Fallen Jake, nice. Our 3rd random winner. So let's just throw up the Northern Legends, come on, and bang through a whole bunch more. So Northern Legends sharing some of their egg supply with us. DG, can you just, we've got 5 more of these to do, so let's just bang through them quickly. Can you just throw out a 3, 2, 1 for us again?
3, 2, 1, skibidi.
Oh my gosh. Let's see whose luck is in the toilet. Right, congratulations. Let's get you noted down there. Our first Northern Legends winner, Nandonut, please again.
I got to hit us with another topical one. Trainer Golem, Emblem 1, Emblem 2, Emblem 3.
Wow, I hope all of my emblems are the same one. Let's see who got the perfect combination. And it's the weekend, congratulations. Our second Northern Legends winner. Alright, I'm just going to speedrun this. 3, 2, 1. I feel like, I like that we've got a good variety here of levels of witticisms when it comes to these spins. I Play TFT is number 3, but first in our hearts. Let's see, there we go. Our 3rd National winner. DG, you know what's up.
3, 2, 1, Colossal Udyr.
How many Colossal Udyrs can we fit into one lobby? European. Well, I mean, that seems appropriate. Congratulations. And last one, we'll see. Nandonut, you've been doing pretty damn well on these so far. Have you got a 3rd and final witticism for our final Northern Legends winner?
Well, I mean, it's got to be the chaos of Loot Sub. Spatula 1, Spatula 2, Fish Bones.
Oh no! We just don't know what we're going to be getting for the rest of the game. Our final winner for today is Black Villain number 1109. Congratulations. And again, to our 5th Northern Legends winner. Congratulations to everybody. I will post it up in a second. Again, for anybody who's winning here today, do make sure I will be sending those out across the next week or so to be able to get everyone's DMs done, because I tend to get blocked by Discord a lot when I'm DMing a lot of people very similar kind of information. But I will get that all done. Phew. Well, DG or Nandonut, do you have any folks who you would like to raid us across to today?
None for me, but while you are looking for someone counter, I have a joke and a fun fact to end the
Ooh.
stream.
Please do tell us.
So, joke first. Do you guys know the difference between the black-eyed peas and chickpeas?
Not specifically.
So, the black-eyed peas can sing us a song. The chickpeas can hum us.
I like that, actually. I quite like that.
So, and this is the other very, very funny one. Very fun fact. Very funny fun fact is
That's quite a claim.
yes. Chocolate comes from cocoa. Cocoa is technically a tree, and the cocoa tree falls under the category of vegetables. So technically, when you're eating chocolate, you're eating a salad. And the second fact that comes with it is coffee comes from what is technically known. The coffee beans come from a tree that is most closely classified as a berry. So technically, coffee is a fruit, and if you're drinking coffee and having some chocolate, you're basically drinking fruit juice with a salad.
I just don't know what to say.
Just want to iterate that Counterfeit Cast's casual tournament is not a licensed source of medical advice. So, you know, don't sue us if you die from coffee chocolate overdose.
I mean, I found a perfect person for us to raid. Coffee Attic in their Healing Arc ADHD, and they've got a giant picture of a thing of coffee, so honestly, I feel like their vibe will be very similar to what's going on right now. I can only apologize for everything that has just happened. We'll set up that raid. Of course, I do want to drop in both of your socials if I can find them in time before we go offline. But you can see Nandonut down there. Lines of Anand. Nandonut, do you want to just tell people what they would see over on that if they were to go over and check you out?
I mean, that's my art account. I do ink work art, detailed kind of doodle type art. So if that's of interest to you, then feel free to check it out.
And DG, over on Blue Sky, what have you been posting recently?
Not a lot, admittedly. Though I did post a couple of pictures from my recent trip to Germany. So that was a fun one. But I think I'm going to be posting a few more interesting things on there right now. So hopefully you follow me there.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming and joining. Congratulations again to Sky and to Benzo for being our first and second place overall. And for anyone else who's won something today, will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. Next time on the 13th of September. But for now, let's go ahead to Coffee Attic and see what they're up to as they continue their climb. We outie. Oh gosh, I'm just gonna go fall over immediately. Ugh.
They also started their stream right now, so
I liked their little coffee icon, so that was really my primary reasoning.
Oh, you mean a salad and some fruit juice?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you both. I was completely annihilated today, so thank you both for the hard carry.
Have the time. Go ahead.
Effort. It was a team effort.
If I'm honest, like have the time, I
where am I
probably
getting these
didn't
raid
know what I
from?
was saying,
Thanks.
but I just know it made sense because you were both not